Let's record.
Mm-hmm.
We ready? Okay, start the meeting, 18:30. Welcome everybody, welcome to the member of the public. It's a non-speaking for the public night, but if you did want to ask someone, use discretion, it was really important, you know, so. Just a reminder, all your telephones, if you can, switch them off, if you haven't already, or put them on silent, please. And we'll get cracking straight into it. Apologies for absence. Already been, sorry, Martin, go ahead.
No, but councillors Baker, Campbell.
Moving quickly on to item 2, disclosures of interest and grant of dispensations, anybody?
Just Northumberland County Council.
Yeah. That would be the same for. Minutes of the previous governance committee meeting held 10th of July 25 were agreed at the meeting of the full council held on the 17th of July 25. Happy with that? Agreed, Kath, seconded, Dan, good, thank you. Next one, item 4, actions arising from the previous minutes. We're going to get an update now from Elaine on the DVS checks for members and staff, followed by Malcolm, who will give an update on the insurance review. So if you're happy, Elaine, we'll pass over to you, please.
Absolutely. The Democratic Service Officer has been leading on the DBS checks for members and staff. Initially, as county councillors have already gone through this process, she's asked those dual hatters if they could provide their DBS certificates. And I believe a number have complied, although we are still awaiting some, and she is actively chasing that up. Regarding staff, she has conducted my DBS check in the first instance because we both wanted to be aware of the process, so that when we ask town councillors to go through the DBS process, we can explain what is expected and timeframes, etc. So mine's come back. I have since progressed Malcolm's, and we're awaiting it coming back. Alyssa, the Democratic Service Officer, will be chasing any outstanding from dual hatters next week on her return, and commencing the process for the remaining 8 town councillors.
Any questions? Natalie, yeah.
Ask, would you prefer to bring them in and so you can photocopy them, or would a
That is the
photograph of them
preference.
be all right?
And a physical copy of them is the preference.
Right, okay, no problem. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Malcolm, please, on the insurance review.
Your chair. With the last governance committee, which was then forwarded on to council, it was proposed that we move from self-insurance to insuring our assets. There's quite a long process in doing that, and where we are at the minute, we've had to reanalyze our asset register and put it into different categories that comply with the insurance regulations. And then we've actually, on the advice of the insurance company, applied a risk assessment to those categories. The categories are things like office contents, gates and fences, fixed outside equipment. So we had to do a risk analysis of all of those as well. And just before the meeting actually started, I've been given quotation from the insurance company. It's slightly less than with the additional budget that I thought it might be, just by a few £100. But I've got 1 or 2 queries which aren't significant cost-wise, but they are significant if someone goes wrong. So hopefully, over the next week, we'll be able to move to a situation where we'll actually pay that premium, which will then release the self-insurance funds that we've had. But we'll report. I might be able to give you an update at council next week, but it might be later on, and I just confirmed by email.
Yeah. Any questions on that? Happy? I'm happy with that. Thank you, Malcolm. Moving on to item 5, which is your budget monitoring report. We'll get this in all committees. We just had one recently. I can't see much here, so if anybody's got any comments to go forward, there we go. What report is it?
It's on community development and the environment in just the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's really just the governance committee. And on governance, the most significant savings in there at the moment are on staff salaries because of the vacancies that have been carrying.
Yeah. Anybody got any comments? No?
Yes, Chair.
Dave, go ahead.
On savings, when I'm looking at rent service charges and rates, is there any way we can get that down at all? On the bill we're using? Savings.
I would have thought, my understanding is when you sign up to a lease, then you're bound by the terms of the lease, but I'll pass it on to Malcolm if you can answer that question.
Yeah, we've got a 12-month rolling lease now because of the changes that we agreed a few years ago. The service charges cover things, like maintenance, insurance, all the utilities and other than that. They have gone up since the events of 3 years ago, Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine. The non-domestic rates, that's non-negotiable. That's a levy that the county council performs. Savings wise, we are out of the 10% now. You can see there that we're paying 17,000 business rates. If you move 100 yards up the road, you're going to be approaching 45, 50.
With that?
You?
Yeah. Right, thank you very much for that. Next one, item 6, external audit report, 24-25. Martin will give you a little bit of an update on that, about the completion of the audit and the letter and who's in it, and then we'll put it in the floor and see what comes and then move on.
So, at the end of the financial year, we prepare our own accounts, which generally hit the middle of April, and then we submit them to council for vision. We send them up to the external auditor. And what we've got to do is sending off, it's not just figures. It's our view on the governance arrangements that we've got within the council. And the internal auditor also submits a report that goes off to the auditor as well about his view on the overall status of governance and the transactions that build up the accounts. Again, we've had a very favourable buy from the external auditor, where they aren't raising any matters at all for concern. So yet again, I mean, that's going on for the last X years that we've been here anyway. So it's just another compliment everybody involved really. The only they have made a couple of comments. One is surrounding the fact that within our accounts we've got nearly £25,000 that doesn't belong to the council. That belongs to a charity which is called the Blythe Trust for Youth. Unfortunately, we aren't able to progress that in getting it out of our accounts into our charity accounts because we need the signatures of all councillors. We're still waiting 2 signatures, but when we get them, we'll be able to create the account and get it out of our funds and operate the charity as the council intend to do. The other very minor comment that they've made is that we haven't complied with the regulations in issuing something. The effect of that was we were basically invited people in on the day we issued the statement, whereas it should have been the day after. So we actually gave the public the benefit of an extra day to come in to view our accounts and the speakers. So it's not a, sorry.
Is that one?
No, it's on another sheet.
Yes.
So that's the only thing. We'll give the public an extra day. So it's better that way than giving them a day short.
Yeah. So before we go into the recommendation, any comments on the report? Was unanimous.
No.
It's really good.
Been good, yeah. Right, we'll move on to the recommendation. It is recommended that the members here tonight note that the successful completion of the external audit 24-25 with no real matters arising. And that it was published on notice of completion of audit 24 in the council notice board and on the council website. So get that noted that that was recommended. Is everybody's happy here that that happened?
Yeah.
Unanimous? Yeah, good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Happy to move on. Next item, item 7, is the decision report for the mayoral cadet policy. Before we go to the recommendation, you've got an agenda item. We'll pass you on to Elaine, who can do a little bit of support on that if you want.
Yeah. In April of this year, the town council agreed to sign the Armed Forces Covenant. As part of the Armed Forces Covenant, they agreed to introduce a mayoral cadet. But before we can actually enaction the mayoral cadet, we need a policy on how we work with the mayoral cadet to make sure all safeguarding and everything's in place. This is the proposed policy for the mayoral cadet. The only financial implications of the position are the regalia items that are in the next agenda item. I don't have anything else to add to that. I don't know if anyone's got any questions.
It's very well written. I think they've covered everything.
It's been easy for me this tonight. Any questions? Yeah. Right.
My questions were back in April, so I think it's all good, very good.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
assume that we recommend that this policy be adopted.
Agreed.
Unanimous?
We will be putting this on the agenda for council next week to get forward.
Yeah. Right, item 8, and Elaine just touched on that, so we'll hand it back to you, Elaine, to present that one, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to do this one in reverse order because I think it makes sense to do the mayoral cadet regalia first, as we've just discussed that item. It's proposed within this report that the mayoral cadet, in line with the policy, is presented with a commemorative pin badge, which is something they get to keep as a memento of their experience of being a mayoral cadet. The recommended cost for the pin badge, and there's an image of it provided within the pack, and that is Appendix 2, Image 2, I believe. Appendix 2, yes. It would be the one that currently says City of Westminster, but it would have, sorry, Westminster, I can't pronounce it properly, with the Blythe Town Council coat of arms on it. That would be a badge they get to keep as a memento. It would be dated with the year that they served as the mayoral cadet. Also, something that is passed from mayoral cadet to mayoral cadet would be a brassard that's worn on the arm, similar to a black armband that you might, the captain of a football match might wear, but it would have an embroidered badge on it that says Mayor's Cadet, Blythe Town Council, again with a coat of arms on it. And quotations are provided. So the brassard with both components is under £290 to purchase. The second element of this is the past mayor's pendant. The town council has historically presented the past mayors with a pendant to commemorate their term of office. We currently have ran out of stock, apart from the one that has been engraved for the past mayor, who is Aileen Barris. We've run out of stock, so it's suggested in this report that the council purchase in bulk for 5 years worth, which would serve the mayor this year and the future years for the next 4 years. The quotation that's been sought from the company we have previously used as a supplier came back quite high, but the Democratic Service Officer has managed to find one that is slightly less, and the supply of 5 past mayor's pendants equates to £236 per unit, which is a total of 1,184 for 5 units. to you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, my move on it is that we should just approve it without like much consultation, because it's like a proud thing for anybody who comes and takes that job on. Most of that time is voluntary. But to give that person, whoever it may be, an identification, I think it's a lovely gesture going around, and it gives them a little bit more of an identity than this.
Can I just ask, I think it's fantastic and I fully 100% support it. Also, how are you gonna actually choose this person?
The process for appointing a mayoral cadet would be to reach out to the uniformed organisations in Blythe and ask them to nominate someone, and then those nominations come in, and then it would be the mayor, possibly the deputy mayor, and an officer would go through those applications and pick one.
Thank you.
Have we got anybody lined up for this year? Or?
We haven't invited, we needed the policy approved first before we could invite nominations, and that process would be done in April, ready for next May.
Happy with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you agreed?
So can I move on? Is it recommended to approve the proposal of purchasing civic regalia for the use of civil events and commemorative memorabilia at the cost of £1,470?
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you. Good. Next item, number 9. Liam, you're getting a little work. So I'm gonna pass on to Liam again, give a little bit of a.
Thank you, Chair. We've produced an attendance policy. This is just to reinforce what is actually within legislation, asking members of the council to adhere to this, so that all apologies are reported in advance to the town clerk, myself, or the Democratic Services Officer, so that we can ensure that we are always quorate when we have a meeting, and also just reinforcing that when you submit your apologies at the meeting, even if the council or committee are noting them or agreeing them, they do not count to resetting the clock for the 6-month period of time unless they've officially been approved by the council. So that means a written request coming in to ask for an approved absence. It's just reinforcing what's in legislation as a policy.
And to be honest, about this comment I saw it happened last week. I don't know who was with the committee where somebody had actually, and we've all done it, give apologies for somebody because they hadn't attended when the all of the hammer came. And then the person walked in 2 minutes later and said that. So it is a good thing, in my opinion, that the person has got a ring. I think it's just being accepted that if the person is not here for 6:30, somebody will give apologies. Nothing wrong with that, but I think having that formal thing from now is good. I mean, any comments? Does somebody want to talk about this for 10 minutes, or still be one of the fastest meeting?
I'm very happy with that.
Is it me, or is it just?
Just
is
keep
this
going,
good?
you're doing well. Get on with it.
So we'll go on to recommendation. Is it recommended from this committee to consider and recommend the council that this policy is adopted?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Good, and then just to say before we close the meeting, number 10. Wishing David a happy birthday. I don't know if I should say that or not, but it's David's birthday today, so
Thank you very much.
after this meeting, I hope you have a lovely final day of the year. So the date and time of the next meeting will be held in the council chamber, Arms Everything House here on Tuesday, the 6th of January. Happy New Year, everybody, at 6 a.m.
Thank you, Chair.
And the meeting is.
Well done, Clary.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.